Do-it-yourself projects can be the most rewarding as well as time-consuming projects. I personally love finding new DIY projects to do around our home. My husband, on the other hand, could go without me experimenting. This is an introduction to a DIY project of painting kitchen countertops. Being on a budget, we are always finding ways to improve our home without breaking the bank. This is why I love DIY projects, and why we decided to paint our countertops instead of buying new ones. Stay tuned until the end to see how our countertops turned out. Before you start, you will need to buy the following Gianni countertop paint kit. This kit can be bought at Home Depot or online at Amazon.com. Some other smaller items you may need is some 110 and 220 grit sandpaper, gloves, paint tray or paper plates, and Scotch Blue painter's tape. Next is the preparation phase. The preparation phase will start off with cleaning your countertops with water and soap only. Do not use any special cleaners. Once you have washed your countertops, you will need to dry your countertops with a dry towel. This will allow for preparation of sanding and taping. After cleaning the countertops, you will need to start taping around the edges of the countertops and sink. This will prevent any paint from getting on your appliances, as well as the walls. You may need to double the layer of the tape to be sure that you don't get any paint where it's not meant to be. This next part is very important. You will need to use 120 grit sandpaper and sand down the entire countertop surface. This sanding will help the primer adhere to the countertop. Do not rub too hard and make sure all areas have been properly sanded. 100 grit will work as well. During the final cleaning phase, make sure you remove all the residue due to sanding. I recommend using a damp washcloth with a little bit of soap. Once all of the residue is gone, make sure to completely dry the counters before moving on to the next painting phase. Once you have prepared the countertops, the next step is to stir and put the primer coat on. You will use the roller that came with the kit and roll on the paint in one direction. The other person will paint the border and all other areas that the roller cannot reach. Make sure to lightly push the roller on. Once the primer is dry, the next step will be the sponging stage. During this stage, you will start with a small piece of the sponge and use the pearl mica. Make sure you turn the sponge while moving in the same direction for consistency. Give each layer 4 hours of drying time in between. After using 1 or 2 layers of the pearl mica, you will switch to using the pearl white for sponging. This is where it will start looking like granite or marble. If you want your counters to look more like marble, you will need to complete 4 layers of the pearl white. See the picture above as an example. Slowly but surely, your countertops will start to look more realistic. I would recommend putting on more white layers than you think, as it will give you that desired marble look that you're looking for. The above picture is after completing 3 layers of the pearl white. Remember to let each layer dry and sand if needed. After the sponging stage, the next phase of this project will be to complete the look you want for marble. This is where you will get to use your creativity and artistic skills. I personally didn't have any, and it wasn't that difficult. Take a smaller paintbrush and start creating jagged lines for your desired look. You can have as many or as little lines as you want. In order to blend these lines into the countertop, simply take a brush and start dabbing the lines before the paint dries. This will allow you to see if you like the look that you created or not. You can also use a water bottle if necessary to spray the water to complete this technique. After adding the desired veins, you will need to soften them up for better blending. To complete this, you will use a sponge and dab pearl white on top of each vein. This is also the stage where you can get rid of any veins that you don't like by simply dabbing more white pearl in those specific areas. The last phase of this project is the coating phase. You will need to use the top coat that came with the kit or feel free to buy a different one. This is where the true look comes to life. Use the roller that came with the kit and start rolling the coat on in one direction. Make sure to use a thin layer as multiple layers will be needed. To apply the top coat properly, you will need to complete 4 or 5 layers with dry time in between. Each time you do a new layer, make sure to apply the coating the opposite direction from the previous layer. This will create the best blending. You will need to let the countertop dry for 3 weeks before putting heavy items back on it. How to clean the painted countertops. Gianni sells a cleaner for the painted countertops, but I have not used it yet. I have been using dish soap, hot water, and a rag. It does the job just as well. Do not use bleach cleaners that have essential oils in them or anything else abrasive to the countertops. Here is the moment you guys have been waiting for. I have posted my personal before and after pictures of our countertops above. I am still in the top coat and curating process. I must warn you that this process does take some time and patience is key. Be sure to make alternative plans for not using your kitchen for about a month. Now that we have come to the end, I wanted to give you some tips to keep in mind. Be sure to give yourself enough time to complete this project. Patience is key to any DIY project. Remember that your kitchen could be out of commission for 3 to 4 weeks. Watch videos of others who have completed this project, and don't be afraid to try anything new. Thank you for listening to my Pecha Kucha presentation. If you like what you learned, make sure to check out my blog link below for past and future DIY projects. I wish you good luck on any of your future DIY projects and look forward to hearing from some of you with your ideas.